Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Clinically Pressed. It's been a couple of weeks since we got one out, but we're happy and excited to get this one out. It actually is an interview with the guys that we have our partnership with and promotion that we talk about at the beginning of each episode. That is Paragon Nutrition and Fitness. That's right, we got to sit down with the Pauls. We've been trying to do this one for a while, as we really like what these guys do, obviously. And it's also fun to hear their backstory on why they do it. And we think that's really important. And that's a lot of what we cover in this episode is just kind of their backstory, how they got started, what was the reason for it. And it's deeper than you would think for most people starting something in the supplement business where it is overcrowded. There is a lot going on. There's always somebody trying to sell you the next latest and greatest. And these guys really do have some fantastic stuff. So we highly recommend checking that out. After, you can always go and check out paragonfn.com. Check out all the stuff that they have, some really good things that can help you sleep, help you control some inflammation within your body, just the highest quality of ingredients to go into all that. So when you check out, use promo code CP15, and that'll get you 15% off at checkout. Also, we kind of retooled and redid our Patreon. If that's something that you might be interested in to help support us, we do from $1 up to $5 or more an episode, and that will include early releases. We only put out about 26 episodes a year, so it is not a huge commitment in that regard. But if that's something you'd be interested in doing to help support the show, we would greatly appreciate it. One last one, please make sure to hop over onto YouTube if you haven't yet. Click subscribe because that also helps us out tremendously. With that, enjoy our episode with the Pauls of Paragon Nutrition and Fitness.
That works. All right. Well, we're sitting here with the Pauls from Paragon Fitness and Nutrition, and excited. We've been trying to get this scheduled for a while. And
Finally doing it.
Yeah. Thank you for making the trip up here. That's a long ways out of you guys' way. No problem. Yeah. So I guess jumping right into it, we got Paragon Fitness and Nutrition. Tell us about it.
Jumping right in. So Paul had a lot of the work and foundation done, I'd say like years ago now. Total accumulated time for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The business was born in a notebook off of a lot of his studies and research and experience, and we had always kind of talked about going into business together or some sort of venture together.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, things finally aligned, and we were in good spots professionally and with family and stuff that it was ready to launch. So we, through conversations over the course of the last 7 years now.
Is that how long we've known each other?
Yeah, it's been a while. Paul had researched more and more, and we talked about different aspects of fitness, health, professionals in workplaces where job stress is more prevalent and more detrimental, and we finally got to the point where we could launch, and we did. We jumped in. So that was kind of the start of it, I guess. It was just kind of putting ideas to fruition and committing to something, and building from literally nothing to what we are now and what we're gonna go to eventually even. So
It's
been fun. We've learned a lot already. We haven't been around for a year yet. Was it September? So, yeah, really not that long. It feels like a long time, but
Seems like you guys have
we're young.
good ground already in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Doing all right, yeah.
Yep. We made a good jump right away, and we've been able to sustain and to keep expanding. And now we're at the point where we can be a little more tactful and strategic with partnerships and with relationships with other people and athletes and other organizations that already exist. And a lot of the difficulty in this area, this arena, is brand recognition and keeping loyalty of customers and continuing to progress with products, marketing, charity work, which we're really big on. And so there's a lot that goes in it. It's a very saturated market, but that's why we took our time starting the company, because we wanted to make sure everything was in line and that our products were the top of the line, that they were battle tested, and that there was literature and true science behind them. Because if you came in with a crap product, you might live for a couple of years, but
Until somebody discovers it.
well, what we see is somebody will find you out, and you'll go away, and you see that a lot with brands. And so we have no intention of being one of those that just has a great, short life, makes its money, and leaves.
This is
This will be a longevity brand and company. So we took our time and we made sure everything was as good as it could be before we let anybody buy it. I don't know if that makes us kind of different businessmen, that we care about the consumer, but that's what we did. So
I feel like I did a poor job of introducing, I guess, too, because it's not like you guys are just two guys off the street.
we're two guys off.
Hey, let's just.
We were in line getting coffee.
Yeah, so you had started working for the Madison Fire Department, and you'd stay with us when you came down there.
Yep.
Just so you didn't have to find an apartment for the 9 or 10 days a month that you were in Madison.
Yep.
And we'd talk about issues that you see with the firefighting culture, and what problems the community of firemen and firewomen see.
2 pots of coffee a day.
2 pots of coffee a day, massive inflammation, lack of sleep.
I learned a lot that wasn't good for you.
Shout out, AJ.
Yeah, the doctor. 2 grams is too many.
2 grams of caffeine.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I still remember that conversation.
Oh, this is all making sense.
Yeah.
That's really where our products came from, and how the design came about of what's in the products and what they're meant for is to solve the chronic, or help with the chronic inflammation, help people get some sleep, recover from the grueling lifestyle that firefighting and police and military and what those communities see in their day-to-day life. And then coincidentally, those things also cross over into the fitness world, and we focus mostly on CrossFit. Because that's what our background is, and
It's our biggest exposure.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
that's
and
where
then-
we met years ago, and Paul actually officialed my wedding, and so that's been cool to be able to go to business together
yeah.
and everything. So
Pictures the other day.
Did
Yeah.
a great job.
Thanks. it was fun.
it's a good time. Yeah, the cool thing about it is that we found a lot of parallels between these public safety and civic service professions and professional athletes, or professional parents who work out and have busy schedules.
Even once we get specifically night gains and flame off into my parents' friends' hands, they try it and they're like, oh, how do I buy this? I've slept better than I've slept in a long time. So that's
forever.
the aging community was also on our mind when we were designing these products. So those three different communities were a big factor in how we design the products.
I feel like the aging population especially has issues with sleeping. It seems like in my patient base, anyways.
Like you've talked about multiple times, just the inflammation and looking at
the flame off,
anti-inflammatory diets, but then
look at any chronic illness. What's the root of it? It's inflammation. Yeah.
And so, these products won't cure anything. They won't make everything disappear, but they at least help and get you going in a better direction to manage things and to actually overcome them altogether. Because our theory is, if somebody's wanting to pursue a more active lifestyle or a healthier one, obviously you have to improve your sleep, which we can help with, but it's still on the individual to limit, bright light exposure, limit distractions, at-home stresses.
actually get to bed.
But this will help you far and away once you're able, to go to bed. It helps a ton. And then on top of that, adding like the flame off, which has been a huge hit with all of our athletes and with all of the people in the protective services. If you can decrease the aches and the pains and you can help someone's recovery, they're more likely to continue to be active. And so it kind of snowballs. You could do one without the other, but doing both together only accelerates things. Like, what's the common thing you hear from someone as to why they're not, working out? I'm just speed up. These are shot. Okay, well, let's, we know that movement will help those, but how can we get them to feel more comfortable making the step? Yeah. So that was pretty cool that they all related closely together. Like when, foundationally, when you break everything down, the issues are similar no matter what. So yeah, we had this vision coming in that it was going to be, driven towards this one field. But then quickly we're like, well, this demographic benefits from this too. Well, then this one does. And then, well, okay, so now you're almost at the point where it's like everybody could use help, or something. But so that's been kind of cool. Like as we've grown, we've expanded in these different areas, and you meet more people and hear their stories and how this stuff has helped or what's limited them in the past, and it's really pretty overwhelming. Sometimes we have to take a step back and be like, okay, from a business side,
Right.
where do we need to focus first? Like, how do we continue to grow so we can keep expanding and helping all these other people, because you can't just do a little bit here and there. So to get us out and to be put in front of more people, to help more people, you kind of have to take a little more targeted approach. I think that's where we've grown a lot in the past, 10 months or whatever that it's been. So it's been fun. It's interesting. Yeah. Always learning. But
So you mentioned your background. What's the chemist background then, Yanzer?
I have a degree in chemistry and a minor in physics, and did some engineering studies as well. So I like making things. And my main hobby for the past 7 years now has been reading research in the nutrition and wellness field. So that's just what I do. A little bit, yeah. It's there's so much information, and that's just what I enjoy doing in the evenings. Is just digging through some research. Like, well, I wonder if based on what I just read, let's look at this issue and see if there's any correlations, and let's try to tie some things together. And that's all just in my mind right now. And Paragon is kind of an expression of all of that thought process and all of that information kind of coming out into some way that we can help some people and try to do some neat things.
yeah, so I think like every one of our products has a specific goal and a reason. It's not we don't have anything out there that's like just because. You know, just because there might be a market for it. I don't really believe in that. If we can't tell someone specifically what this could help them with, or why it's important, we don't have it. You know, yeah, and so I think it's been fun that we haven't lost our identity at all, and you know, even given that's what's fun with him is it's like an encyclopedia of all things related to this. So if I have someone come to me with a question of, well, what about, you know, I have this, and this going on, will this still help? Well, hang on. Let me go find out. And then you can usually find out. And we were actually talking about this on the way over, like mainstream, like internet media has made what we do kind of difficult at times because everybody's a professional now, right? And you see it at work, and you see it at work, and now we see it. But you know, it's like we were talking about like creatine, and everybody still talks about cycling creatine. Well, if you're not abusing it, if you're not taking absurd amounts every day, it's super healthy for everybody.
It's hard to take. I mean, you talk to John, or you listen to John Wellborn about creatine. He takes 2 10-gram doses a day.
Yeah.
You know, he's a former pro NFL player and still works out a lot, and that's just what he takes. He's a big guy.
And that's on the high.
And that's a high end.
Okay.
People would be like, oh,
yeah, 20 grams a
Yeah,
day. That's a lot.
3 to
But
5
and he
is
says,
what I
you know,
see. It's like general health.
build up to that. But it's all based on body weight.
True.
Yep.
But
And
5 grams is a really safe dose that is
For anybody.
For anybody. Like there's research on 1-year-olds and TBI and creatine,
That
and
was my big.
you know, pregnant women and hypoxic environment for the fetuses. They test that with creatine.
Improving fetal mortality with creatine.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what? Do you
So
know?
if you're doing studies on those populations with anything, it better be safe. You know, like you don't just do studies on something that might have some issues. You know, creatine's been tested pretty widely, and there's
That and caffeine, I think, are the top researched across the board. I got Ferris was talking about his creatine regimen like years and years ago, and talking about the research they've seen with like Alzheimer's and those diseases and where it's been beneficial, and that's where my thought process shifted and did a little bit more looking. So when all of our athletes come in, well, how much should I take? Like, should I not take it during then? Well, in camp I might cramp. Well, no, like.
And so where did all this stuff come
Right,
from? Like,
it just snowballs.
You know, in all of our products, we run into those questions of, well, I heard this. Yeah. Well, where? You know, like, and who wrote it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, a friend of mine shared this thing. Well, so you read a headline and panicked. You know, like, you just have to be informed, and it's just, and I get it. It's tough to take the time to look into everything and to be knowledgeable on all things, but you know, there's all sorts of literature that you should be able to make your own decision, and you know, there's a lot of really safe things, and there's a lot of really bad things. So it's just kind of finding what's what. And that's where we took so much time was, okay, how many studies said this, how many studies said that, now let's mix them all together and really make sure.
Make the best decision.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the hard part with the evidence-based stuff is there's so much contradiction out there.
Well, and we really take all this, like, if we sell to someone or if one of our athletes is taking something, like, I feel personally responsible for anything that could happen.
Yeah.
That's like our biggest stress and fear in all of this. It's not money, it's not whatever. It's like, okay,
How's this
Things
gonna
go well, nothing.
Yeah.
And now that we're working with professional athletes, it's even bigger where it's like, you don't want. So one of the big things was like, none of this can pop on a test.
Right.
It has to be legal.
That was one question I was going to for you guys. Just
And then the other thing is,
quality
like,
controlled it.
This can't hurt their performance because their performance is their livelihood.
Yep.
So we were very diligent. Well, Paul was especially diligent with making sure everything was all tidied up.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so like, that's each one of our products. It has a goal. It's been researched. It's
Yeah.
been proven,
With
and it's
with the conflicting research, where one study says one thing, the other one says another. You got to go dig in and look at study design. How did they test this? What's the population size? What was take hydroxymethylbutyrate, for example, which is in one of our upcoming products. There's conflicting research. The product,
and who funded it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
The product, when it works on preventing extreme muscle breakdown. So delayed onset muscle soreness is what you'll notice doesn't happen if you take the product properly. And that's gonna work best in an untrained community. So people are first getting into exercise. Your first leg day after not doing legs for 6 months.
Last week,
Yeah, you're not gonna walk for a while.
I could walk. It was
That's
just slow.
yeah.
Yep.
But that's where something like that population, and then your high-level elite athletes who are constantly in an overreaching phase, preparing for competition.
Yep.
That's also where it works, where you're going to extreme lengths that your body's not used to. So if your study design is like, yeah, we took 10 well-trained athletes, and you look at what well-trained means. Like they have a squat of 155 pounds. I'm like, well, that's
not really well-trained.
That's not a well-trained
Yeah.
athlete, in my opinion. That might be a personal record for people, and that's great, but it's not really reaching the echelon of fitness, or something that you're going to be working in extreme muscle breakdown. So your study is already flawed, where it's like, yeah, it didn't work, or there wasn't any difference between the placebo and the group dosed with the hydroxymethylbutyrate. That's because it was a poorly designed study. So all those things,
Methods are
right?
so important.
Yeah.
One, I know this might be getting in the weeds. Like the delivery system of it, in terms of like getting through your stomach and the digestion phase.
Yep.
Like I'm not going to assume, but I'm going to say it. That I assume that that's something you obviously took into consideration, just because you hear that a lot with if it's a crappy quality,
Yeah.
coating or whatever capsule it's in. That
Yep.
in essence, you're losing out. Like I was hearing it on glutathione. If it's not in a specific type of capsule, you're
Yep.
just
Sure.
you're just throwing
Well,
money down.
Didn't you? One of the reasons that Paul had decided to go with a couple of different formulas and stuff in here, different like the bulk of it, the source, was the chelated minerals.
Yeah.
Because they're more bioavailable
Right.
when your body can uptake them. So that's something that is easy to look over.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want to make an effective supplement,
Right.
is
Yeah.
really important.
Like
Right.
night gains, we're not using magnesium oxide that has like a
like a
5% absorption
Yeah.
rate. It's,
Right.
iron oxide is rust, right? Magnesium oxide is oxidized magnesium. Your body doesn't want to absorb it, so you have it attached to an amino acid like glycine, which also helps with the calming the brain down. Then it's absorbed better, and you also have another thing that works together with the magnesium and the other products or the other ingredients in night gains to do what we wanted to do.
For sure.
And that's been fun though.
It's a lot
Is
of
that
fun
we've
for
been
me.
taking, and he geeks out over it, and I'm just happy it works. But when we first put all this stuff together and had our testers, people we trusted, that we knew what their lifestyle was, and who we knew would give honest and valuable feedback, that was pretty cool, because we thought we were going to have to change a lot. Or you never know. You're
Right.
nervous, and you're like, okay. And the night gains was overwhelmingly positive. And can't believe this worked. What is this? When is it available?
Can I get some more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it all was, and we're like, that's incredible. And you go down the list of what we have, and everything's come back that way. And which is really reassuring. But it also shows that Paul did his due diligence and research and really put together the right stuff.
Absolutely.
'Cause like I said, ultimately it's people's lives, you know, and you don't want to mess with them. And then the other part of it too, now from a business aspect, is it's their money, and you want them getting the right value for what they're paying you to provide, you know. So it's been working, which is outstanding. I sleep way better. I'm way healthier than I was. I know other guys on the job, some of our veteran friends, some.
He's not sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
I've thought about giving it to my kids.
Okay.
Right.
My dog is not sleeping.
Right.
As well as you
I-
do it. It's starting to drive
For the
me
record,
nuts.
I wouldn't give it to my kids because of the GABA, which is a neurotransmitter.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good.
And I don't want to mess with anything like that. Plus,
Yeah.
with kids, the dosage is just different.
Well, his
You
kids
know,
are
it's
developing it,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
young.
Yeah, for sure.
So
almost 2 and 3. So
yeah.
real small kids. One of them just doesn't sleep well. So
They just need all the brain development they can get yet.
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like, it's been cool. Like, you guys interviewed Kogan, you interviewed Eamon. These are guys who I'm sure told you in those interviews that sleep was bad, and my sleep was horrid after work. You know, I could maybe take a nap, but then I was just up.
Up and rolling.
And if I went to work, you know, especially being on the med unit, I wasn't going to work to get any sleep, you know. And my abuse of caffeine for a while. But the positive impact we've had, not just on the sleep, but like mental clarity and I would say like emotional stability, you know, for some of these guys who've experienced repetitive traumatic events in previous endeavors that they've had. That's been really cool to see the positives come from that too. I mean, that's a really significant issue in a lot of fields, and to be able to help with their coping of that or their management of that stuff has been pretty outstanding, you know, because that's usually the snowballer of, you know, you might have these events that happen and then your sleep starts to go away. Well, then when you're up all the time and not sleeping at all, when you start hitting that insomnia phase of things, any issue you had is now magnified, and it's just a rough road to get down to. So again, if we can provide something that helps in those aspects of things, that's huge. That's huge for us, and it's huge for them.
For sure.
Yeah, it seemed life changing. Huge.
Yeah.
That product just kept coming up.
I mean, both those guys have gone through a lot, and I have friends who are still active who use it when they're not on deployment, and it helps, you know, which is great.
It's what it should be all about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, well, we talked a little bit about the flame off, talked quite a bit about the night gain. So what about your guys' other products?
Big fan of the catalyst samples. Just throwing that out
Are
there.
you?
Are you?
Big fan. Yep.
That's cool. So Catalyst is
George.
a product.
Yeah.
It's out now. It's our pre-workout, and it is pretty awesome. Jan's nailed it again, as per usual. But that's been an overwhelming hit. I don't think we've had anything
No, it's selling really well.
negative from
Yeah.
anyone yet either.
Only taking too much.
Yeah,
Too
too much and too empty of a stomach.
Yeah.
But that's in all things.
Yeah.
So
I can see where that would get.
that wasn't a formula
No.
problem.
Sure.
So
So if someone gets up to work out right away in the morning, just have something with it. You'd recommend? You know, if they're gonna.
I would say if you normally eat before you work out in the morning, keep doing
Continue.
that. But I take it on an empty stomach, and I just have to eat after I work out,
Yep.
which
Oh,
I should do
that's-
anyways.
Yeah, right.
That's all I do as well.
If I don't eat, then it's like this deep, empty feeling in my stomach.
Okay.
Like everything's gone.
Okay.
And mine was in the middle of the afternoon. I wasn't working out. I was just kind of experimenting with the focus
Oh, yeah.
portion of it.
was
I haven't
pretty
taken
cool,
a I haven't taken a pre-workout since college, and that was Explode, which is another
Yeah.
story for another day. But yeah, I was just messing with it in that regard because we had that
You
conversation.
get a lot of work done on it.
I liked the feeling, but didn't have any of the like stomach issues or anything
Good.
like that
Yeah.
or whatnot. Yep, just a little sample. Yep,
Yeah, but I don't
still
have an
got the
issue with
little tingles, so I knew
Yeah.
some stuff was working. Yeah, it's like, well, we know that for sure kicked in.
it. Yeah.
I get it all here with
Yeah,
any beta alanine. Yep.
Yeah, I really like a good pre-workout, but once I started doing CrossFit, like all of them jump your heart rate up so high that like partway into a workout and just like breathing heavy.
You'd crash or you'd feel sick.
Yeah, I didn't like taking pre-workouts anymore because of that.
Yep.
So this was kind of a way to be able to take a pre-workout again and not spike the heart rate up right away and just be able to focus on the workout and be in the right frame of mind and have more energy and just the right things that, according to research, work for helping you out with your workouts a little bit.
It's a catalyst. It's a fitting name.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I've tried just another one because AJ just had some left over and he's like, "Hey, you want this?" I was like, "Oh, we'll just experiment." I don't know what it is about that one, but I almost get like sinus congestion after taking
really?
it, which I thought was interesting.
Which one is that?
Won't say it on air. I'll let you know afterwards, just in case. I'm not trying to make any enemies on this one, but yeah, it was just kind of interesting to have that, and that's I think the other one that I tried once or twice that was good was Stepani's that
Oh yeah.
didn't seem to mess with me at all or whatnot.
See, that's another guy who
Does his research and
Yeah.
And that's the
just
thing that I thought was super cool. The thing that I thought was super cool when we did the interviews when we were in Madison is like, you both can talk about it, but then like you had referenced, like if somebody wants to get into the weeds, there's like no hesitation. You know it. Like you can just throw it out there, and it's not like walking into a local supplement store where they know what to say, but if you were to pry into it,
They can't tell you. What
they
it's
can't
doing.
give you the nuts and bolts. And even just looking at
And that's what's been
nutrition on a bigger scale and
Yeah.
not just saying this will fix everything, like, but you don't have to change anything else.
It's been great with Paul too. Is like every ingredient in all these, he can tell you what effect it's going to have, and then not only individually, but when they combine, you know, and they build off each other, and how they'll metabolize together, and all that stuff. We've covered. You know, Paul has figured out what it's going to do, why, what the differences could be. Like if someone reported this, well, if he didn't know, we were going to figure out why that possibly. Because like we had one of our athletes talking about, like, oh man, I just don't know. Like I get this weird feeling after this, and this. Well, so we dug in a little more, and it was a correctable cause. It was just back to taking too much with zero food and his
lack of sleep.
and you know that kind of stuff. So it's not cure-alls, but people that tell you that everything they give you is a cure-all are lying
Right.
to you. You know.
It's stuff that helps your body do what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
You know, if you're doing what you should be on your end, this will just kind of help boost or
Optimize it,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
help your body function the way it's supposed to.
But so that's why we did, you know, the other stuff too, like the omega-3. It's widely researched. We went with a really high purity and potency, and that's been great. And same with the vitamin D. Widely researched, pretty much unanimous on the benefits. And the beautiful thing is that if you take, you know, those are two that we offer not just for their individual benefits, but for combining it with everything else that we have, it's starting to total package everything, you know, like, so if you're getting this benefit from this, and this one from this, and all three of these together are giving you this, well then if you add in this one, like, you're gonna be on a lot smoother road, a lot better path to whatever your goals may be. I don't have joint pain anymore, which is awesome, and I think it's a lot of that mixed with just the source of the other stuff I'm taking that we have, you know. So like I always did fish oil, but usually individually, and I was kind of here and there on the vitamin D. But so now that I'm more consistent with those and taking the flame off, that's got to be it, you know. And I'm a little cleaner. Like once we came out with our protein too, the construct, that's so clean that I don't think I'm battling any negative effects from my protein source or like.
There's some crap out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I used to take it, I guess. So I found that out. I used to take a lot of those different ones. So.
Back to you can't pronounce most of the things on the
Yeah.
label type of thing, and it's like reading a novel.
Yeah. And I'm sure you learned a lot of that from the other one too. But like our whey protein is pasture fed. It's very humane sources that they get it from. The way that
The processing is very minimal.
Yeah.
So it's the lowest heat processing that you can legally do in the United States, so that keeps the proteins more intact.
Takes longer.
Takes longer.
Costs them more.
It's all done in the same facility that
It's sourced at.
that they source it from a cheese making process. It's
Yeah.
also turned into whey in the same building, so it doesn't leave. It doesn't get loaded up and
Doesn't
taken
get
across the
needed.
country.
Travel. Yeah.
It's less than 8 hours from cheese making process to dried whey protein.
That's what's funny with protein too is everybody wants like a good deal,
Yeah.
and they buy all this stuff and they're like, well, it all comes from the same place. And it's kind of like one of those things. Like I think I best explained it to someone the other day that had some questions about it, and they're like, well, why does that matter? Why does that window matter? And I told them, I'm like, well, you wouldn't leave like chicken and fish sitting on your cupboard or like on your counter for 18 to 20 hours before you decided to cook it.
Right.
So why would you do that with anything else?
It also, the more steps in the process, the more you introduce ways for things
chemicals
to
and new.
go bad.
Yep.
So
Simplicity still is the best.
Our vanilla is what,
Yeah.
5 ingredients?
5 ingredients,
And
less than a gram of sugar,
chocolate.
Incredible.
Chocolate is 7 ingredients.
less than a gram of sugar,
Yeah.
and it's natural. It's not
So
added.
the sugar that to get it in for absorption purposes and spiking insulin, what recommendations would you have? Like, what do you suggest people take it with? Is it, or just like, so do you just mix it in water, and because it's so pure, is your body able to uptake it? Because I know a lot of people will make the argument that you got to have the carbs along with it, to spike insulin,
yeah,
to help
so you're
drive it into the muscle, just in terms of
You're saying
taking
like
it.
the post-workout gummy bear with
Yeah, or whatever it is, like,
Pop-Tarts.
thoughts on that? I'm totally open to something new and interesting.
There's a question on here about future product offerings. I'd love to do like a highly branched chain cyclic dextrose for post-workout carb source.
Okay.
I've used that in the past, and I think it's really great. It's just a modified carbohydrate that'll empty the stomach fast and then absorb spike the insulin without spiking the blood sugar so much.
Yeah, because that was one I know.
That's
There's a
big.
guy had mentioned, I think you and I talked about it, but had this supposedly super clean, like, whey protein, and didn't have any flavor to it because he didn't want any additives. But you put that in water and it tastes terrible. Like, it is so hard to put down, but there's like no sugar in it. So he's like, oh, well, yeah, you just mix it with some like Gatorade powder or some like applesauce. And it's just like, well, you're touting that this
That's
thing
how
is
you
like
start to sell
super
it.
clean,
Right.
but then
But
you're
add in this
mixing in
Monster
like,
applesauce.
yeah, or
Yeah.
powdered Gatorade, which I'm sure is just
Well, your average
perfectly
Gatorade
clean.
has 36 grams of sugar.
But that's the essence of the question. Like,
But
if
then
you're
you
still
have
trying to get all that,
coloring, you
like,
have-
sure, your
yeah,
body
sugar.
will uptake it and you'll break it down and you'll get it to where you need to be. But if, and this is another discussion for another day, like the quote unquote, anabolic window, or like
Yeah.
trying to maximize all that stuff.
Which
Like,
they're finding is kind of a little more shadier than they originally thought.
yeah, I kind of always thought,
Like you want a carbohydrate. That's
It all depends on the type of exercise that you're
Yeah.
doing too, and
But
how
it's
much you do.
accepted that you can take that stuff, but I would still say that, like, just because your car needs fuel doesn't mean you put in like the worst quality
Right.
fuel you could find. You know, there's healthier ways of doing stuff than. Well, I was guilty of it, but I was also like 21 and could do whatever I wanted and was sleeping fine and
5 pound
whatever.
days of optimum nutrition.
Well, yeah, like you could slam protein and you could eat a Pop-Tart and I was still losing body fat. Like,
Yeah.
that was cool, but that's not reality. You know what I
No,
mean?
it is not.
So, I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
But there's a demographic that could get away with it for a while, and that all goes away
Yeah.
eventually.
And there's
So-
also things that elite, high functioning athletes can do and need to do, like how many people at the CrossFit Games are on the paleo diet? Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Is there anybody anymore that really is?
not widely publicized.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, the
it's-
new thing now is
it's-
the flexible paleo, because you can
So
have
just eating like a normal person.
like a normal healthy.
Clean, yeah, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
clean,
Clean.
weird.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that they do
Right.
is
Yeah.
like that flexible paleo is still prominent in really clean, high quality meat, vegetables, and then like nuts. But then they add in like rice or a starchy potato.
Right. Right.
So there's stuff that's good for the general populace, and then there's stuff that high level athletes need to do in order to perform. And they aren't always the same thing.
No, they're not. You can't be. This will upset people, but until you get to know some of the games athletes and regional athletes in the CrossFit world, or some of the professional NFL athletes, that echelon of people in the population are so different than you going to do your hour workout a day.
Right.
And it's not saying that the hour is not really important, because it's going to provide you a better, longer, healthier, more productive life. But the commitment and the logistics and the grit that you have to
Most
to,
fittest on earth, it'll give you at least a sneak peek.
it's unbelievable, isn't it? You know, and that's reality for everybody,
Right.
and that's reality for a lot of people that make it to regionals. Like, I don't
Right.
think people understand how hard it is to be considered that good, and then to do it year after year after year, or to go through an NFL season.
Yep.
So we work with Jared Aberdaris is one of our athletes. He plays for the Lions, and he was asked to gain X amount of weight coming into the season. He pounded our protein, and he took a lot of creatine and different stuff. So he got there, and he's still just as fast. But now he did all of that in preparation of hoping to make it through 16 plus weeks of a season, where his body's going to get thrashed.
Yep.
So it's a year-round thing, and the work they have to put in every single day far exceeds what the general population has the time or determination for, so they can get away with doing some different things.
Right.
Different things.
Right. Well, just the calories that those guys need. I mean, we found that out with our food.
Huge Badger fan, but Alex Hornibrook ate
6,000.
6,600
Yeah.
calories a day,
Yeah.
lost weight, was way leaner, but was eating cleaner. But I mean, tell me someone that you know that is living a 9-to-5 life that's eating 6,600 calories a day.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's probably some people doing that, but
Yeah, well,
they're
that's
not-
fine.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, we found
You kind of have to work hard to get that many calories.
It's a job.
It is a job.
It's a job on top of their other job on top of their other job.
Is it? You read John Welborn's bulking protocol, and he talks about what he had to do
Makes me sick.
as a 300-pound NFL lineman
Yep.
at what was he at 8% body fat?
Yep.
So he's rolling around with like 270 pounds of lean mass
And can run.
and can run
Yeah.
and
And can
is
punch a hole
eating
through the wall.
8,000, 9,000 calories a day just to maintain.
Maintain, not lose.
Even Andy.
Andy.
Yeah.
Even Andy
Andy,
upped
yeah.
it 1,500 calories. Upped it. Like he was under eating for a 380 pound plus or minus on any given day guy, and he had like a 20 to 25 pound switch in fat and muscle.
Yep.
just baffling. And
I had to do that. I was chronically under eating for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ pointed that out again too. That was like my come to Jesus of learning my my real health and body. And there are a lot of people out there that do under eat.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to eat the right stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
just
so
and you can't
situational.
be one of those people too who's like, well, okay, so they're eating more and they're losing weight and they're just working out a little bit more. So like I can just add in like this brownie after working out or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you really can't.
Or a paleo brownie.
Or a paleo
That makes it
brownie.
healthy. Yeah.
Cane
No,
sugar.
It's still a brownie.
Well, it's organic too.
It's cane sugar,
cane
yeah.
sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just the organic paleo brownie.
Yeah.
All good things.
But so it's interesting, and it's been cool for us to be in the field
Yeah.
deeper
It is,
and
yeah.
to see into their lives and be like, you have a really big appreciation for what people are really capable of and their commitment level to it.
Yeah.
And that's everyone from elite CrossFit athletes to elite NFL athletes to elite special forces soldiers to elite moms and dads who crush everything, you know. But I think it's important for people to be honest with themselves and relatively modest with what their goal is, what their realistically is possible for what they're willing to put into something.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then using other things to help get them there.
Yeah. Diet will take you a long ways.
Yeah, we
just
come
if
in to
you-
fill some of the voids,
Yeah.
you know. And we believe in recovery so much too because it's only going to increase your performance over time.
That's setting you up for your next workout.
Correct.
Right, exactly.
Every day is
Oh,
building
so
on
hard message
the
to get
previous
across.
day.
Yeah, we were talking
So
about
important.
youth athletes on the way up here and how like a 19-year-old guy has so much testosterone that he can just
Do whatever he wants.
run a linear strength program for so long because he's just ready to add 5 pounds the next time, 5 pounds every time. And the longer you can keep doing that, the longer now I just went from doing a 5x5, 5 sets of 5 rep back squat. I started at 145. Now I'm at 315 over the course of like 20 weeks.
I'm still going up.
And still going up 5 pounds every time. And it's super boring, but when you have your recovery set and your ability to recover is primed, then that's what you can do. Like you're ready to take on the next adventure, the next call, the next workout, whatever it is. And like you said, inflammation is at the root of so much disease, cancers, heart disease. It's all inflammation.
Yep. There's a lot of research coming out on that now, even more than there was in the past, and like some of the modalities that we used previously. Like I don't like knocking other things, but there's a certain thing you can take to alleviate joint pain, and now they found in a pretty mass study, it was in the UK, that they found you have like a 31% higher chance of suffering a heart attack because of abuse over this one drug, over-the-counter drug.
And that same one, also, study I read the other day, blunts muscle gain after workouts. So if you're working out
So
and you're
every
an
athlete that sits there
and you're
and
taking it,
skittles this
you
thing.
are not.
I think I saw that one pop
Yeah.
up. I think I saw that one pop up. I think I might have saved it.
It's a good one.
It's gonna be. I was gonna use it as a article thing because I had seen that and I get ungodly.
See it every day at work.
Yep.
And then I see everybody come back the next day
It's just such a
saying,
normal thing. Like,
Right.
for people, it's just like, that's ingrained.
it's like taking a breath mint. It's so weird to me that you can take an over-the-counter that frequently and not even think about any possible ramification down the line for
Yeah.
what you're doing. It's a drug. It's a medicine.
Yeah.
And that's where we really wanted to focus on the inflammation thing, because where I was seeing it at work nonstop, and then I would go to the gym and see it nonstop, and I'm going, there's got to be better ways. And then we found them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
I can't
cool.
remember the last time I did. I've like sworn off medicine unless it's like absolutely needed.
I have too. Yeah, I've gone really weird about it. Like I just.
Like there's still the time and the place for all the things. but
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just.
Other than
Oh,
your
yeah.
opioid problem.
Well, I mean, you didn't need to bring that up. Thanks, boss. Just kidding.
I don't
Just
feel any
kidding.
joint pain.
I feel no pain at all. Anyway, off that one. Well, that goes down too far of a rabbit hole.
What else did I see here that was kind
Goes down too far of a rabbit hole.
What else did I see here that was kind
So,
of cool?
any other future offerings that, or you got?
You can tell
I
everyone.
mentioned the
We can release this whenever you want. So
Yeah.
post-workout carb.
that'd be cool.
As somebody who's training 1.5 to 2 hours a day in CrossFit for a while, that's something that really helped me recover after workouts.
Stay lean.
Yeah, it replenished the glycogen stores. When I had first got way into the CrossFit scene back when we first met in 2012-ish, 2011,
Yeah.
I was on the super secret, like, intermittent fasting, low carb backloading diet that I'd put together, and lost a ton of weight because I wasn't eating enough, and then all of a sudden I couldn't work out, and I was just wrecked for a couple months.
We both kind of started
Yeah.
at really funny places. I weighed 174 pounds and got just demolished by any sort of barbell.
Yeah, I
And
was
then
like
Yanzer's going through his
205.
crisis of his diet thing.
Yeah, poor decisions and trying to do stuff, the super secret squirrel stuff. It's like, oh, this is going to be the best thing in the world because it combines all of these special things.
Everything.
And as it turns out, it just depleted
funny.
my
It's a good way
glycogen
to learn,
stores.
though,
And
sometimes.
yeah, it was a great way to learn.
Yeah.
Experience.
Great way to learn.
That's where I learned that I couldn't sustain life being paleo.
Yeah,
Physically couldn't eat enough food that was that clean
the
to recovery.
yeah.
And I started changing stuff, and then I went up to like, I think I put on 12 pounds, and I dropped down to 8% body fat after gaining 12 pounds.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
And then, so that was pretty wild. Like I was eating more, and I was eating, dirtier food.
Right.
And it worked. But yeah, so we want to do that one. What else do we have coming out? We have
We have a product called Rapid Build that's
gonna be
in the
huge.
R&D department. Athletes really like it. It's creatine, hydroxymethylbutyrate. I like it for
everything.
everything. Those are two
You
products.
bounce back fast.
Yeah, two products that have really they combine with each other to be even better than they are individually.
Yeah.
And there's research
It
in
creates like free radicals that are.
research in the elderly community, research in the sports and fitness community, research in creatine. There's some
What was
interesting
that
research about.
sprinting study? Oh, that was sleep. That was sleep.
Oh yeah, lack of sleep decreases
sleep.
sprinting
We like
ability
sleep.
drastically. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sleep is huge.
that was
That's like
totally
the
separate
biggest
though.
thing.
Whoops. I just
Um,
remember that was a really interesting study. I mean, it was like a drastic drop in like sprint capabilities of collegiate basketball players based
Reaction
solely
time,
on their
accuracy.
sleep. No other change at all but their sleep.
So what did it recommend for
Sleeping more.
but just more
for athletes,
For athletes, yeah, it's
9+.
which is
you know?
impossible at the Division I level.
Yeah.
Which is why those kids are just. I'm gonna soapbox, but they're making universities and communities millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and TV networks and all this other stuff, and then they're going to school, they're passing school, they're going to practice, film, and strength training and sprint training, conditioning every day, all the time. And then on top of that, we're telling them better sleep 9 hours. I don't know if you've ever like worked out late at night or like come back from late practice, go straight to like the library or whatever, and then go to bed.
Sounds like a lot of monitoring.
Good luck.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah.
You stared at the.
AT student.
What did you do? You
Down.
stared at the
Right.
ceiling for.
I don't know. I've been thankful. I'm a guy that I lay down and I'm done.
Were you?
Oh yeah, it's just
See, I
lights
hear a lot
out.
of those
Even in my times now, like if it takes me more than 2 minutes to fall asleep, like I don't know
See,
what's
that's
going
incredible.
on.
You're the
Yeah, I don't.
rare- you're the
I'm
rare
very
one.
lucky in that regard.
I can relate because when I was teaching that late class, I'd get home and I'd be up for like sometimes 2 hours, like at least an hour and a half.
If I don't wind myself down at the end of the day, like
Mentally.
my brain doesn't stop.
I color.
Period. Like
Do you? Yeah.
up.
He got me into
Adult
coloring.
coloring books?
Yeah.
Yeah, adult coloring books.
I can go to bed so I'll pop 3 or 4 of the night gains, start coloring, done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just
Grading
done.
does it now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I couldn't even read before. I was too amped up to
No kidding.
focus on a page.
Huh.
So I went to coloring.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Markers, color pencils.
Yeah, we have these. We have those flipped markers where it's like a brush, like a bigger brush on one side and like the pen on the other.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
You're covering so much. I love it.
It's mental health, man.
It's
It really
mental
is.
health?
Paul got me into that.
meditative.
So when I was working with AJ, trying to figure out why
Right.
my body was physically shutting down when I was 24 or whatever and supposed to be in great shape, and I was, but I was abusing caffeine. I wasn't sleeping like I was supposed to be. I was overstressed, overworked all the time. I was commuting, which didn't help.
Right.
But so all these things pile up, and then I was still working out 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So then I was under eating, I was over caffeinating, I was under sleeping, and I didn't have a way to like chill.
You were always in flight or fight. Your
Yep.
body never had a chance to.
So Paul got me started
down.
on the coloring book thing, and that was actually pretty. I was skeptical. Like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, coloring book.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Ready to color.
Like, you've been spending too much time with your 3-year-old. Yeah.
Remember the text conversation? You're like, anything I can do is like get an adult coloring book. Whatever. Okay. Sure thing.
Cool, Paul.
A couple days later, it's like, yeah, it
I'm
actually kind of
safe.
worked.
Then what else were we talking about coming out? Didn't we have one more?
I don't know.
I don't remember. We get together like this 2-hour car ride over here is just.
Well, we can get our Skype calls in.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you guys are going.
But those are the 2 big ones coming up, and those will be.
Yeah.
You know, I think people would be pleasantly surprised with the rapid build. Like I still take our home, like, you know, I take that at home, and like I've been able to increase my volume again.
Yeah.
So a lot of that has to do with like recovery and sleeping again.
Nice.
But like I can get home after work out quick, you know, do some monostructural conditioning type of work. I'm not a morning lifter, but I can knock out a 5K on the ski erg or go for like a half-hour sprint session thing or whatever, and then take a nap, do whatever I have to do, and I can work out again later that day, which wasn't happening before. So I'm just, and we found that with like a lot of our athletes taking that too. They said their second or third session has been vastly improved.
Nice.
I can see the
with it.
benefits.
Vastly improved.
Nice.
I can see the benefits in non-athlete population, though. I guess I should a non-elite athlete population, because you look at just your everyday Joe. You got to get up early, and you got to, you know, if you have your dad responsibilities or mom responsibilities and work, and if you want to, you know, maintain an active lifestyle, where you're going to fit in that. And then usually the evenings, you know, for us, as the kids get older, running around with sports practices or whatever, like, maybe you're not, you know, fitting in multiple workouts per day, but you got a lot packed in there. You still have to.
Even with like take the aging population, for example, you know, there's a ton of research on creatine and delaying Alzheimer's and dementia progression, in some cases stopping it. And creatine does that by boosting the mitochondria efficiency. So it makes your mitochondria more efficient at producing energy and then being able to function better. Hydroxymethylbutyrate on itself, there's some studies with the aging population where there's a test called Get Up and Go test, where you sit in a chair, you stand up, you walk 15 feet, you come back, and you sit down. So they do this with people at nursing homes. And just supplementing with hydroxymethylbutyrate over a couple days significantly decreased their amount of time that it took to do the Get Up and Go test. So
You know
it prevents
what kills people in nursing homes?
muscle
Just sitting
wasting.
there. Yeah.
Being sedentary.
Yeah,
You know,
and
it's,
that prevents the muscle wasting and the loss of muscle.
Yeah, it's a hip fracture.
yep.
Yep.
They
Should
can
never
move.
kill you,
They can't.
but it does.
They don't do anything. Yeah.
So that's what's been really cool with us, finding out more of that is like, I've started pushing it on family members. They think I'm nuts.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to keep them around and healthier longer. Truthfully, I mean,
for
when
sure.
it comes down to it. So that's what's cool is like it's not just a sports thing. As much as we're involved in different sports and
You started switching like that.
yeah, you know, it's hard to do though. I mean, how are you gonna tell her like
Well, she already gets some stuff, but I think
just
we'll-
mix it in,
we'll talk about
secret?
But if you have
Moving
good
it over.
sessions, I mean,
Secret.
but if you have
Moving
good
it over.
sessions, I mean, you're just giving them information, and you know, that's all you can do really. And
That's true. But that's been cool. Like, we got way more broad as a company than I ever anticipated.
Yeah.
Especially when we first launched.
Right.
We had a very niche market that we were going to go after, and it quickly grew. Not just
when you don't
to,
have to, when you're not even targeting.
Yeah.
It just works out.
but like not even just the protective services, and like we're still getting into that market. That's a finicky market at times. Guys are too tough to admit that they're not what they were. They
Right.
need more. But getting into the CrossFit market and the elite level and the weekend warrior level has been really fun, and to see people progress and do things they've never done. Like one of our brand ambassadors, Dano, has been just crushing
Yeah.
everything, and a lot of it, the only change he made was the flame off.
Yeah, flame off was huge for him. Same with
Specifically?
night gains. He
Yeah, that's been big for him too.
I did a competition with Dano back in February of this year, and you know every workout that
And Dano's an
weekend.
adaptive athlete.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so it's not just a, yeah, he's
Right.
yeah, so he would say, you know, I should probably go first on this workout because if my feet go, then like his feet, I'm not entirely sure
can't remember what the
what, but they
process
just
was.
kind of lock up on him.
Okay. Interesting.
After enough movement
Yeah,
and stuff. You met Dano at the house.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Dan was there. So he started taking flame off. I gave him night gains that weekend. He's like, that's the best I slept in a long time.
Yeah.
Normally he's just up and kind of insomnia or wakes up and can't get back to sleep. But the flame off, I sent him some, and he's like, dude, half an hour after I took it, like my feet felt great.
Nice.
Like,
Which
can
is all,
he ran
he ran a lot the
a
other day.
135 400.
Yeah.
Like after his third
This
one.
is a guy who was told at a young age he would never
Yeah.
exercise, never run.
5
never
years
walk.
ago, he just got out of
So
his
he's
leg
moving.
braces.
Yeah.
So
So that's been rewarding for us.
that was his third one, his third 400, like in a
I'm sure I can pull that
timed
off right now.
timed rest session.
No. But that's
Yeah.
been cool. Like now you're literally changing someone's life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's been really fun, you know. And I mean, he loves it.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's a new lease on a new life. But yeah, you know, we got into that, and we're getting into more, you know, the military and stuff, veterans and active. Working more with, like, we'll be working more with people suffering with TBI and PTSD. We just joined up with the Receiver Factory, which is a group of trainers who,
Yeah. I remember you talking about this.
yeah, and they just signed a deal. They're like personally training Antonio Brown, who's
Nice.
the best wide receiver in the NFL, and we have the opportunity to do a lot of really cool things with them too, working with this elite level of athletes, where we can not only provide knowledge on products but lifestyles and, you know, better
Optimize
recovery
recovery.
habits, because their body's literally their life and their livelihood.
Right.
And you're starting to see that switch in the NFL, in all sports now, where people are really serious about longevity. I mean, really serious. And it didn't used to always be that way, you know? It used to just be party time, whatever. And now it's like, nope, I want this 8-year career to be 10. And I want to be productive, and I want to do this. And they're taking it very, very serious. And so it's been really cool that we're starting to get involved with that too. And so the more we do with these diverse groups, the more we learn, not just for the company, but as humans and as people.
yeah,
And then I feel like we're able to do even more good. Like we we donate a lot to charities. That's been pretty big with our starting the company is we didn't want to be 100% straight pocket the money. So we support a lot of firefighter charities, police, military, other things that we get involved with. But a lot of that speaks to the people that we're surrounded with too. Like all of our athletes we know personally, trust, really enjoy being around them, believe in them, and so far they believe in us yet. So
They still do after they met it. Well, I think you've met more athletes. Than
yeah,
I have.
I've
Or
been
you-
around a little more.
I got to meet quite a few of them for the first
The
time
games.
at the games. So they still trust
There
us
you
after
go.
that. So, at the games, so they still trust.
There you
us
go.
after that, so.
We can see you're genuinely concerned and like interested in how.
And that's what's been cool with our athletes too is they attest to that, and you build loyalty together. So even though like a better monetary deal could possibly come up for them down the road, but a lot of them, well, so far everybody's stuck with us.
Yeah.
So it's been,
You have that trust.
it's been cool.
Sorry for the quick cut on the end there. Cut a little short. We had some recording difficulty. We're actually really happy that we got this whole episode back. We had some issues, but with that, we really hope you enjoyed the episode. Definitely check out www.paragonfn.com to check out all the stuff that they referenced in this episode. And again, using promo code CP15 for 15% off at checkout. Again, hope you really enjoyed this. If you have questions, feel free to get a hold of us through whatever means works best for you. And with that, thanks again for listening and have a great day.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Clinically Pressed. Go to clinicallypressed.com for full show notes and links to everything that was covered in this episode. While you're there, you have access to all of our episodes, insights, and shorts. You can find Clinically Pressed on YouTube and any podcast outlet. If you could give us a rating, thumbs up, or review on how we are doing, we would greatly appreciate it. To get more free content delivered to your inbox, sign up for the Total Athletic Therapy newsletter. You'll get direct links to all new Clinically Pressed episodes, reviews on some of the latest research in health and performance, and links to related podcasts and other items meant to help you make the complicated simple and optimize performance. Thank you for listening, and see you next episode.